What's up, everybody? How y'all doing out there this afternoon? This is your man, your guy, Mr. Talk 718 with Talk Life on Facebook. I'm also going to be taking this same video and I'm going to make it into an audio file. So this will also be a part of the Talk Life podcast that can be found on any social media platform, any podcast platform from Apple Podcasts to Google Podcasts to Spotify, you name it, I'm going to be up there. Okay. I want to talk about the Second Amendment and how important it is to us as black people. The reason we should be aware that the Second Amendment is not just for one group of people, but it's for everybody. And I'm going to read what the Second Amendment states. This is going to be the Second Amendment annotated. The Second Amendment states, a well-regulated militia being necessary to security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms, shall we be infringed. The reason why I am talking about the Second Amendment is because when you think about what's going on in the world of America, we have a lot of gun deaths, gun violence, and I believe in my heart that the only way to curb it is by fighting it fire with fire instead of fire with love or kindness. Not to say if you own a weapon, you're not going to be a kind person or a good person. But what I'm saying is having a weapon will give you an upper hand in a war on crime. Think about this. Every day we wake up and we turn on the news or we look up something online or we pick up a newspaper and there's always something about someone being killed due to gun violence, right? So we all know that gun violence is big in especially major cities like New York, California cities like Los Angeles. We know that it's big in Detroit and any metropolis, any place where you have millions of people living on top of each other. We know that weapons, guns, is a big major part of crime, and people are dying every day. Good people. And my belief is, if there were 10 criminals and 50 people in an establishment, and at least 15 of those people had weapons to protect themselves, people would think twice about doing the crimes that they commit, especially crimes pertaining to murder. So I want to say, like, we have to get weapons. We have to be able to protect ourselves. I live in Florida now, and I'm not saying Florida is any better than New York. I'm not going to say that New York is better than Florida. I'm not going to say that Chicago is the worst place in the world to be, because we know this isn't true. But always remember, when you're prey, you're going to be taken advantage of. Think about a gazelle in Africa. They don't have strong teeth. They don't have claws. They don't make loud noises when they let's say they speak, right? Yet they're always being preyed upon by lions and any other carnivorous animal out there in Africa, right? Now just imagine if they did have claws. They had the sharpest horns. They had muscles that could match with a lion. What do you think would happen? That lion would think twice before trying to attack it, right? And that's the same thing I feel about humans. We're animals. We're all animals. But we have the thoughts, we have the mind, we have the capacity to do things that's not animalistic. Yet we have a minority of people out there that's doing animalistic things like murder, like crimes. You know, Eh, that's not that's not a good thing. You know, that's not a good thing at all, and it actually hurts the community of, especially the people that's not out there doing anything to inflict danger to anybody else. But we have that minority, that group, that small, insignificant group of individuals out there that's out there doing what they can to make prey of the people. My argument is we need states like New York. We need states like Chicago. We need states like any state that has strict gun laws. I think we need to not say, I don't want to say get rid of them, but I want to say make it easier for the citizens and the civilians out there. Let them have the ability to go out and get a weapon. I mean, I think it's only right. You know, when you think about what's going on in the world today, right, and you think about your individual city, and you think about the crime, and you think about someone being shot, and then you think about how long it takes for police officers to get to your specific area to take care of a situation. By the time they get there, 75%, I'm just making up a number, but 75% of the people who's been injured are more than likely dead. You get what I'm saying? So when people get shot, we're waiting for someone to respond as opposed to being able to respond to the immediate threat. I don't think we need stricter gun laws. I think we need to reform the gun policy in each state. I think we need to allow people with the mental capacity to be able to purchase a weapon to protect their homes, their property, and anything that is pertaining to them because they have that right by the Second Amendment. Second Amendment is here for a reason. Let's take a look at what went down in New York City. This is from August the 24th, right? So this is a couple of days old, but this is relevant, right? I'm just going to show you a quick video. I want y'all all to take a look. This is what's going on in New York. Absolutely for no apparent reason. It's never that serious. That's one time I seen an ambulance get there before the person even leave the scene. But who's to say that that ambulance is going to that crime scene? Crazy. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read what's been going on. This is from the New York Post. This is from August 24th, 2020. Nearly 4 dozen people were injured in shootings over the weekend as Gotham recorded its 12th consecutive week of surging gun violence, according to the authorities. One of the latest people to fall victim to gunplay was a 34-year-old who was shot in the chest in Brooklyn just around 10:30 p.m. That was on a Sunday, and he died shortly after at Brookdale Hospital. The man whose name was not released was shot near the NYCHA Howard houses at 280 Stone Avenue in Brownsville, Brooklyn, the police said. That bloodshed was the first of 6 shootings over the next few hours across New York City. So let me stop here and let me just tell you a little bit about Brownsville, Brooklyn. I was born in that same hospital, Brookdale, but Brownsville, Brooklyn is probably one of the most out of control neighborhoods. If you're, how can I say, if you know, if you're in a neighborhood like Brownsville, it's either you mind your business or you're involved with the shenanigans that goes on. But let's just say 75%, let's say 50% of the people in Brownsville were weapon owners, gun owners. Do you honestly think that people would be getting killed the way they're being killed, shot the way they're being shot? I mean, I'm pretty sure that the person that was running in that scene with that weapon actually was carrying an illegal firearm. So I find it to be a problem when you have people that's able to carry illegal firearms and get gunned down, and then we have to wait for the police. Yet who's here to protect us when there's no one to protect us? So yes, just like the lion in Africa chasing the gazelle has to run or get caught, right? And more than likely, it's going to be more than one lion around because that's how they do things. You know, a lot of the times you see people that's doing criminal activities, they actually run in bunches, more than one. So I have a big problem with that. I have a problem with people being able to get gunned down and there's no way to protect them. And if you do decide to build a group of people to protect the neighborhood, you're considered a vigilante. And I mean, what else is there for us to do? We have to be able to become gun owners, responsible gun owners, not just being able to have a weapon and to say that the weapon that the weapon carrying people or the law-abiding people who have these weapons are going to be out there doing extra, because that's not the case. I live in Florida, and I mean, I don't really, I mean, I might stay in my bubble a little bit, but I do have my ear to the ground, and there's not too many people with legal weapons out here doing craziness. It's the ones that's out here with the illegal weapons because there's no way to trace. You got to catch them. But like I said, if I had a weapon and a person had a weapon and my friends had a weapon and we're all out here and we're able to conduct ourselves as mature adults and we see a crime happening, it's in our right to actually stop the crime from happening until the police get there. But a person with no weapon against a person with a weapon, and that weapon is a gun, that person without the weapon has no chance 99% of the time. Let's continue. In Chelsea, a domestic dispute between a 35-year-old man and a 41-year-old girlfriend turned violent when she shot him in the leg and wrist around 1 a.m. inside the Renaissance Hotel at 6th Avenue in East 25th Street, the cops said. The man was expected to survive. I'm just reading a few of these situations that's going on in New York. I'm going to get to Chicago in a second. About an hour later, a 46-year-old man was shot in the leg near Dorchester Road and Flatbush Avenue in Brooklyn. The man is expected to recover after being taken to Kings County Hospital. In East Flatbush, a man was shot in the buttocks near the corner of East 93rd and East New York Avenue just after 12:15 a.m. Police said he was taken to Kings County Hospital. You see? Look at this picture. Let me see if I can enlarge it. Probably. Yeah, there you go. So look, all those orange cones, those are casings. This is I want to say this is in East Flatbush. This is the East Flatbush, East 93rd area. I know this area very well, being that I'm from Brooklyn. Um, there's a lot of bad things that go on in New York. Look at this. When is enough? When is enough enough? When will we allow the people to take up arms in these large cities to protect themselves? It's ridiculous to me. I personally get tired of hearing and seeing people that's minding their business get gunned down because they had no way of protecting themselves. I know it might sound crazy, and I know that the math doesn't reflect my thoughts, but the deaths and the people dying reflects my thoughts. being from the hood, seeing things like this on a regular basis. Do you see this picture here? This picture here shows the police out in mass. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 police officers that we can count here in picture, right? We got a few detectives. You got a few lieutenants out there. Anybody with a white shirt is either a lieutenant or a captain, right? So we have 5 lieutenants on the scene in Brooklyn. This scene here is on East 111th Street near First Avenue. So this is in the city of Manhattan. Look at that. Look at that. But I can guarantee you, if there were people out there that was gunned down, or if there were people out there that was in the vicinity of this situation and they saw this going down, I'm pretty sure people would do the right thing and they would use their weapon to protect. That's what it's for. That's what it's for. That's what weapons are for. I mean, people say, oh, guns should be off the street. Guns are bad. No, it's the people with guns. And 9 times out of 10, they're illegal guns. Just imagine a person jogging down the street, minding their business, and they have a fanny pack. They're just jogging in fanny pack, and somebody is following them, get out their vehicle and pull out their weapon because they think they're the law, right? And you have your weapon. Now, certain things would have probably changed. Maybe that person wouldn't be dead today. But that's neither here nor there because the narrative makes it seem like the narrative is effed up when it comes to weapons, and especially weapons with black people. We cannot do the same thing that others can, but that's neither here nor there either. I want to say that if you do become a gun owner, I'm not telling you to join the NRA, but I am telling you that you want to be a part of one of those big companies that help you deal with the legal issues after the fact of a shooting. You know, that's what the NRA is supposed to be. They're supposed to be an organization that helps people with their weapons, with charges after the fact. So if you shoot someone, you know not to leave, you know to call your lawyer, you know to make sure you call the police and you give them your information. And there's multiple organizations out there that's actually just as big as the NRA, but they don't get the same recognition because the NRA is the oldest organization in that field, if you get what I'm saying. So I just want to say, be responsible if you do live in a place where you have gun laws. Make sure you do everything that you have to do to protect yourself after the fact of having to use your weapon. Because 9 times out of 10, people with weapons don't really want to use their weapons. It's for protection. Now, this is Chicago. 64 shot, 7 fatally across Chicago this weekend. This was written on August the 17th, 2020. So that's about a week ago, right? 7 people were killed and 57 others were injured by gunfire across Chicago over the weekend. A 12-year-old boy and 6 teenagers were among those wounded. They're going to give us a timeline, of course. It's going to start on a Monday morning. A man died in a triple shooting early Monday in Little Village on the south side. They were on the sidewalk about 12:50 a.m. on the 2400 block of South Trumbull Ave when someone in a black sedan fired shots, Chicago's police said. Kevin Garcia, 29, was shot in the chest and taken to the hospital where he died, police and Cook County medical examiner said. A 20-year-old man was hit in the abdomen, and a 27-year-old man was struck in the leg. Both were taken to Mount Sinai Hospital in good condition. Sunday, a man was killed and 2 others were hurt Sunday afternoon in Brighton Park on the southwest side, at about 11:15 p.m. 3 men, 19, 20, and 22, were in an alley in the 3000 block of West 44th Street when they were approached by a group of people who pulled out guns and opened fire. Alexis Rivera, 19, was struck in the back and taken to Mount Sinai, where he was pronounced dead. Authorities, sad. The 20-year-old was struck in the elbow and taken to Stroger Hospital, and he's in good condition. And the 22-year-old was grazed by a bullet on his buttocks and refused treatment. Another man was killed Sunday morning in Avondale on the northwest side. Officers found him unresponsive in the driver's seat of a vehicle. This is at 5 a.m. in the morning. He was in an alley on the 3600 block of West Belmont Ave. Chicago police said the man, thought to be in his mid-20s, had been shot in the head and was pronounced dead at the scene. His name has not been released by authorities. And I can keep going on and on and on and on and on. I mean, when is enough enough? When will we be able to protect ourselves in America? I can remember dealing with what country was this? Northern, I want to say like the Netherlands, in that region. You had some people. They had gun rights. The government came and told them, no, you can't have guns anymore. And then Hitler came and pretty much did what he wanted to do with these people. They had no way of protecting themselves. So here's a chart, right? This chart is showing you, if you can see it, all the states with major crime by gun violence. And I think I want to make it bigger so you guys can see. Stand by. I'm going to go back to that. It's amazing. It's amazing. It just makes no sense how, you got advocates out there that has problems with people protecting themselves. I have a problem with that. I have a big problem with that. We should be able to protect ourselves. It doesn't matter, how a person feel, how a person think. We should be able to protect ourselves. Period. Chicago, 30 top murder cities in the United States, right? And how most places, how most pollsters do it, they use a per capita. So every 100,000 people, you would have 5 deaths, 10 deaths, 15 deaths. But when you have a majority of your people in one city, like say, let's use New York, for instance. New York has a few million people. You can't compare New York to, let's say, Kansas City, right? Even if Kansas City had 100,000, let's say Kansas City had 300,000 people, if out of those 300,000 people, 100 people are dead due to gun violence, right? The per capita is going to be higher because it's per every 100,000. So a place like New York, who would have 335 people die in a year, and Kansas, who would have 99 people that would die in a year, you would say that Kansas City has a higher death rate. But the fact still remains, more people died in New York City. So when it comes to like looking at statistics, it's kind of, I feel like, you got to be kind of, I don't know how to say, you got to be kind of, you got to think differently. You got to think outside the box, because that per capita thing, it means a lot, but it don't really mean anything, if you get what I mean. So like Chicago, New York, Detroit, Los Angeles, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Houston, New Orleans, Dallas. If you were to go to CDC, this would be reversed. So you would see like New Orleans number 1, or what's this? Not sure. Oklahoma City number 2, Tulsa number 3, Charlotte number 4, because they go by the per capita. We all know that these places don't have that many people if you're comparing it to a major metropolis like New York, Chicago, Detroit, LA, Philly, Baltimore, Houston. You know what I'm saying? So that's how they skew the numbers, but the fact still remains when you wake up in the morning in New York City, in Chicago, in Detroit, in Los Angeles, Philly, Baltimore, and you see another person dead from 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 guns, right? Your first thought is, I wonder if they could have protected themselves. Would it have been different? Let's give that shit a try. Let's give it a shot. Let's do that, right? Don't that wouldn't that be a nice little experiment to see if it would work? Wouldn't it be good to know that the people who's being shot can shoot back? I know I kind of sound like like I'm being like mean or something, but I have a problem. Like really, I have a problem with people not being able to protect themselves. For real, I have a major, major, major problem with that. You know, people are dying daily, and no one's out there to help them, and we have to wait for a responder. Why do we have to wait for a responder? You know, why? We shouldn't have to. We shouldn't have to wait for a responder. The statistics might say one thing because they're going by per capita, but I'm not going by per capita. I could care less about that. I know what I see when I wake up in the morning and I hear and I read, and I know that honestly we need to do more to protect the people in major cities. Look at what happened just the other day with the gentleman. Uh, what was he doing? He was with his children. He got shot in his back by the police. Right now, that's another story, another topic, all on its own. Right, but then they had protests, and you had these militia people coming out to this town. I believe it was in Wisconsin. You had the young 17-year-old man, boy, child, come out with his AR-15 style rifle, and he shot three people. Two died. Right. What if those people that were protesting had weapons too to protect themselves from militias? Because again, when you read the Second Amendment, it lets you know that you have the right to form a militia. You have the right to do these things. But the problem is when we're doing it and when they're doing it, who's protecting us from them? Because the police sometimes aren't. Anyway, I don't want to make this too long, man. I just like I wish y'all would have heard the original version of this. I was going in, but this is like my second or third time doing this same video. Um, for some reason, when I initially did this, my intro kept playing. It was in the loop, so I had to delete it and start over. To all my people out there, understand, I'm not a man of violence. I'm not a man of hate. I'm not a man of war. I'm a man of love, peace, prosperity, right? But when people are being gunned down by criminals, who is going to be there to protect the people who aren't? I've never in my life felt that killing someone was the right thing to do. But when you have no one there to protect you, what do you do? Can't wait for a responder because it might be too late. You have loved ones, you have family and friends that you want to see the next day. You have a girlfriend, you have a baby, you have a husband, you got a man, you have, you have aspirations. You want to go on vacations. You want to do things that people should be able to do without a problem. So what I'm saying is, I don't want to see anybody die. I don't want to see anybody killed because of guns and weapons of mass destruction. But when people are preying on you and they're looking for you to have a downfall, you have to be able to protect yourself, bottom line. I'm not an advocate for guns. I'm an advocate for peace. But I will tell you, you must protect yourself. And I'm going to tell everybody in states like New York, states like Chicago, states like Detroit, if you guys have strict gun laws, I would suggest you guys get with your Congress, Senate, state, state, local, and try to get that changed so that you can be out there with your weapon to protect yourself and your family when you need. That's all. Because that's what guns are really made for protection of yourself and your property. The Constitution tells us. Um, I'm learning every day, and I want everybody that watches that that watches my videos, that uh, listen to my podcast. I want you guys to learn with me because the more we know, the more we grow. Once you learn this Constitution, we'll be able to fight back the appropriate way, the right way. I'm not going to tell you something that I don't believe in, and I'm not going to tell you something that's not a fact. The Constitution says we have the right to bear arms. And I think we all deserve the right to bear arms to protect our families. And with that being said, this is Mr. Talk 718 with Talk Life on Facebook. If you were watching this on YouTube, please subscribe, leave a comment, and press the bell. I'm new at this, so I'm just trying to make this work because I'm going to have information for you guys, at least one video a week. And I want to thank all the supporters and all the people who's listened, watched. You guys are great. Again, subscribe, like, leave a comment. And if you guys want to have any words with me, you can always find me at talklifepodcast@yahoo.com. You can send me your information there. You want me to answer some questions. You want me to talk on some topics. Feel free to hit me up. It doesn't necessarily have to be social issues. It can be about anything. But right now, the time and climate that we're living in, we need to talk about social issues because that's what's going on in America right now. Peace. Talk life.